Today we are going to discuss 7 videos which are considered to be prohibited for the public to watch. I can't guarantee their truthfulness, but some of them provoke heated discussions even now, though they are dated by the middle of the last century. All the videos have only one thing in common, namely each presents the idea of extraterrestrial life existence, whether they are disclosed KGB archives or hacked NASA archives. This is a 7 alien and UFO sightings caught on camera. The Maryana UFO incident occurred in August 1950 in Great Falls, Montana. The film footage of the sighting is believed to be among the first ever taken of what came to be called an unidentified flying object and was investigated by the US Air Force.
This is the Montana film, projected exactly as it was photographed. The objects are moving against a 25 to 28 mile-an-hour wind.
At 11:25 a.m. on August 15, Nick Maryana, the general manager of the Great Falls Electric minor league baseball team, and his 19-year-old secretary were inspecting the empty Legion Stadium baseball field before a game. A bright flash caught Maryana's eye, and according to his reports, he saw 2 bright silvery objects rotating while flying over Great Falls at a speed he estimated to be 200 to 400 miles per hour.
This is the film in double frame or slow motion. A slight bounce in the movement of the objects as well as the tower is perceptible. This is due to the handheld camera. The film, analyzed frame by frame, shows the movement of the objects to be horizontal and steady.
He believed that they were roughly 50 feet wide and 150 feet apart. Maryana ran to his car to retrieve his 16mm movie camera and filmed the UFOs for 16 seconds.
The shape, brightness, speed, rectilinear path, steady motion, and separation rule out various forms of optical atmospheric mirages or cloud reflections. The possibility of airplane reflection has been carefully studied and ruled out.
The film continues to be debated, since Maryana's sighting over 100 other UFO sightings have been made in Great Falls, Montana, making it one of the most active locations for UFO sightings in North America. What do you think? A UFO or something else entirely? You decide. It's thought that there is a massive amount of different materials kept in the archives of NASA that, although indirectly, can confirm the presence of otherworldly life on our planet. Legends about retouched photo of Mars and Moon are only part of the story. Even more interesting are the leaked video recordings that were recorded by satellites and telescopes that were sent into space. Apparently, a Scottish hacker by the name of Gary McKinnon thought the same thing, and in 2002 he broke in the archives of the Pentagon and NASA and posted these curious materials on the web. In the information published by Gary, there was a large amount of satellite-captured photos of unidentified flying objects. Amongst all of the mass of leaked information, the most interesting thing turned out to be the earlier unknown continuation of a video of a NASA mission STS-75 from 1996. The goal of the mission was to deploy an experimental cable a bit longer than 20 kilometers while orbiting the Earth to try and produce electric energy via the magnetic poles of the Earth. The experiment was curious, however, something didn't go right. It's known that when the cable was deployed to 19 kilometers, for some unknown reason it was cut and the mission was hurriedly shut down. An account to taxpayers in which only a small fragment of the video was shown widely to the public was made with the help of the Shuttle Columbia. Gary McKinnon was able to find the whole video with a time that turned out to be more than 5 hours. On the continuation of the video put onto the web, there is a noticeable presence of an identified flying object nearby with the cable. After the publication of this video, the public started to demand explanation from NASA. However, the only answer came down to it all being an arrangement and a fake. In the Soviet Union, just as in America at that time, there were many legends going around about aliens visiting the Earth. It's thought that a special department of the KGB collected and monitored all the information about the inexplainable phenomena within the borders of the Soviet Union. In July of 2011, a few videos were published, dating from 1942 to 1969, on which was captured, so people think, contact between KGB agents and otherworldly civilization. It's reported that a UFO was shot and fell from the sky not far from the city of Muravlenko. If we believe these shots, then that very moment is captured on video. It's also reported that thereafter there were a few meetings organized between the aliens and the high ranks of the Soviet Union, which said that they arrived from a star system known to us as Zeta Reticuli. It's understood that believing this is very hard, since at that time a lot of mystification was made up connecting with the arrival of aliens. In addition to that, there was no additional information found about this incident. In 2016, a video of an interrogation of an alien appeared on the web. This video provokes a lot of distrust for me, however, I couldn't not mention it. The information about where it came from strongly differs from source to source. One of the sources says that the video is dated back to 1962 and that it's directly connected to the Project Blue Book. The alien in the video calls itself EB3. He explains that he is from Earth and he is what people evolve into in the future. He says that he is traveling through time and that he came here to gather evidence from what it all began. By his words, the world survived a nuclear war unleashed because of political and religious conflicts. He talks about how in his time they already know about how the universe came about and that in the future people will reject preconceptions connected with different gods and myths. He says that death doesn't exist and that it is just a transformation of a person that we are not meant to understand yet. He also says that there are a lot of different universes and each of them have their own characteristics and that in each one intelligent life exists. On the whole, there is little information about this video, however, arguments about it are not quieting down and I decided that it deserves attention. Whether it's true or not, it's up to you. In July 2016, another video was published whose authorship is attributed to agents of the KGB. The video itself is dated back to 1961 and in it there is an alien mummy presented, the age of which, as stated, is 13,000 years old. According to the information of the video, the mummy was discovered by agents of the KGB in one of the Egyptian tombs. Preliminary accounts from experts talk about how these black and white shots have some affiliation to the secret Soviet mission under the name of Project Izida, in which they discovered the remains of the so-named ancient astronaut. Project Izida was checking a version of an idea that ancient civilizations like Egypt or the civilization of the Incas were visited by highly developed beings from other planets. Some of the researchers were inclined to think that thanks to these visits, the world-renowned pyramids of Giza were built. It's thought that this video was put on the web by one of the Russian scientists that once worked for the KGB. However, it's impossible now to confirm or disprove this information, so it's up to you to decide whether it's true or not. In May of 1997, in the American television program Mysterious World, there was a fragment of a video recording shown of a discussion with an alien. This television showing lasted only just a few seconds, however the duration of the video recording was around 3 minutes. It is affirmed that it was made on the American airbase Nellis, which is found in the state of Nevada and is known as Area 51. The cassette with the recording was supposedly stolen by a former worker of the airbase, disguising himself under the pseudonym Victor. By his words, the videotape is just an insignificant piece of a humongous archive that is in Area 51, which holds the contents of recordings of hundreds of hours of conversations with aliens of different origins. There is no sound in the video, but it is known that the filming was done through a translucent screen. At some moment, the head of an alien turned red and strange swellings appeared on it, and it started to twitch. It looked as if it was having an asthma attack. It opened and closed its mouth, from which some kind of fluid flowed out. Soon after that, two people in white gowns stole into the room and the video recording ends. Establishing the authenticity of the video recording did not work out, since Victor didn't give his real name and what he did in Area 51. This footage captured during NASA's STS-48 space shuttle mission. On September 15, 1991, cameras captured several small bright objects maneuvering on screen, apparently interacting with one another in a complex fashion. Skeptics have usually insisted these are merely shots of some of the many small ice particles which inevitably end up in orbit with every space shuttle. UFO investigators were quick to dispute this interpretation, and US scientist Richard Hoagland soon conclusively demonstrated the object were actually large-sized and many hundreds of kilometers away from the shuttle. One UFO in particular appears to rise up from below the Earth's down horizon and can be clearly seen emerging from behind the atmosphere and the air glow layers. It is certainly in orbit around the Earth, some distance out in space, and traveling quickly. A sudden bright flash of light is then seen to the left of the picture below the shuttle. The UFO then turns at a sharp angle and heads out into space at a very high speed. Two thin beams of light move rapidly up from the Earth's surface towards where the UFO would have been if it had continued in its original orbit. So, what do you think? This is really a UFO, or could there be another explanation? You decide. And that was 7 aliens and UFO sightings caught on camera. If you have taken a video of a UFO, be sure to let me know about it. Here is my Twitter, my email, don't forget to subscribe, and see you in the next video.